Yes, thank you so much for those lovely comments about that song. You can hear me to stop that. Yeah, thank you so much for the beautiful comments about the song. Yes, that was me playing the piano and singing all in one take, well, with some backing vocals actually added later. And that was, I had a whole career actually performing and singing professionally before, alongside my career in mindset, psychology, meditation, counseling, and healing. So the two had, I've had a sort of double career, if you like, as well as the music, the live music, as well as the psychology. And what I say to people is about my life story is that music saved my life. Psychology explained my life, and metaphysics gave me life. And what I mean by that is, and it's relevant for the topic that I'm choosing to speak about today, which is creativity, because in the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of mentoring for people in their love and relationships. I focus particularly on that because it's an area that gives a lot of people problems, and it gave me a lot of problems. And these days I found that I'm able to ride those waves and, have a good life no matter what's going on around some of that. And my relationships have got a lot better. And I'm a lot more fulfilled and happy. And so when I say that music saved my life, what I'm referring to is that it was a place that I was able to hang my coat, if you like. I was able to hold on to the coattails of music to pull me through the amount of pain actually that I was in as a young woman. So when I'm coaching people and counseling people and mentoring people in my relationships program, I realized that there are various different parts to the puzzle of us as women, as human beings, that we need to have in place. And we've heard today some, amazing women leaders sharing about specific areas and how it all interlinks together. And so actually, I just wanted to see if I would be able to share with you this diagram, which is something that I've been concentrating on and developing. And I'll come back to the music saved my life, psychology explained my life, and metaphysics gave me life in a minute. But I just want to share with you this, I think, because it's relevant for what I'm talking about today. Okay, so you should be able to see this, and this should be something probably that you are familiar with. So this is Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And for those of you who haven't come across it before, he starts out with this. He's a famous psychologist, and he identifies different levels that we need to have fulfilled as human beings and as women. So the physiological needs of food, water, warmth, and rest. Then we come to the slightly more elevated level of safety needs, being able to feel safe and secure, which we all know is so, so important. Then the belongingness and the intimate relationships, the ability to have healthy relationships with friends. Then we move to the higher level of esteem needs, the feeling of accomplishment. That's when we go out into the world and we start to share what we know. And that's where, as women, we really need to, I think, elevate ourselves and find ways to communicate what we know. And that's quite a challenge for us sometimes, because we need to be able to master things like technology, which is a very male medium. And so a lot of us are wrestling with that, and I'm one of them. And finally, we get to self-actualization, which is when we're fully functioning, firing on all cylinders, which is what we're aiming at. So then I'm now going to show you this, and it will all start to make sense in a moment. Come on, where are you? Share. Okay, so here we have the chakras, which come from, originate from India. And what healers have realized is that there are different parts of the body that have a different vibration and that are responsible for different areas of health within us, put in simplistic terms. And so we have, if I can just bring this over, the root chakra, which is basic trust in life, and where we need to be very grounded, connected to the earth, connected actually in some ways to the feminine. Then the sexual center, which is in the belly area, then the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat structure, third eye. And for those, I'm sure that most of you have probably heard of the chakras. And so what I've done is a lot of study of these, and I use them in my own sound healing when I'm helping people, facilitating workshops. And so what I've done is I've actually put that all together now. Okay, so here we go. So I've put the chakras together with Abraham Maslow's, with my own model. And so what we have here is the basic root chakra, which is about the basic trust in life, which I have brought into alignment with the concept of being committed, that we have to, that, when we are born, we're committed to life unless we choose to end our lives. But, there is a commitment that comes with life, and a willingness to engage in life, and how far we want to engage, how far we want to be committed. And then we go up through the various different chakras, the sacral chakra, your create process. In my model, it's called that, and I'll show you a diagram of that in a moment. Then the solar plexus, and having a look at each one of these, you can see how it affects us in many, many different ways if we are in balance. So, for example, with the sexuality and creativity, which is the second one, if we are uninspired, if our libido is really low and our energy levels are really low, that can lead to things like addictions, a lot of up and down emotions and roller coasters, a roller coaster ride. And my own journey has been about bringing balance into my life. So now finally, I'm just going to show you this one. I'm not sure this is the most up-to-date one, but actually I'll show you this anyway, because what I've done is put it all into a model. Actually, this is now not completely up to date, but I'll show it to you anyway, where you go around the different circles and you are able to, these are the areas that need to be all working together. And you'll notice it's a circle. And I think circles are so important. The logical male mind likes linear. It likes results. The masculine energy likes it's about achieving results, whereas the feminine is more to do with connecting in circles with each other. Just got a couple of people coming in. Hold on a second. I'm not sure who that is. If it's not a man, can't see, so I'm not going to let them in because I don't want to have. If you haven't got your first name, so I can identify that, because I've just had so many people who've been disruptive in the meetings. So these are the different areas. So today of my model, and today we're going to look at the create process today. So I'm going to get rid of this all now. Stop screen sharing. Back to me. And so I had a very troubled childhood and suffered various different kinds of abuse. There's no other word to describe it other than that. And if it had not been for music, I would be dead. There is no two ways about it. Through the circumstances of my childhood, music was given to me as a gift. However, I was very out of touch with myself as a young adult. I used to sing when I was a girl, and I was a child. And then I completely shut down and didn't want, for the reasons of the abuse, actually. And I didn't want to sing. I ran away from my piano lessons. Given that I've just played you that track now where I was playing and singing, but I ran away. I didn't want to play music. I didn't want to express myself at all. And that's when I started my career in psychology, and I did a bachelor's in psychology. And then I got through various, I was a teacher in Africa, and I completed my degree. And then I went to the Philippines to teach psychology in a university there. And it was something, I suppose, about being so far away from everything and everybody who knew me, that I felt that I had the freedom to be able to express myself as I saw, in whatever way that I wanted. And I made a determination at that time that I was going to really find out what it was that really was my passion. I knew that I wanted to find something in life that I could completely devote myself to. And I'm smiling because I remember being in a bamboo house where I was living at the time, and I had a little battery cassette player where I was playing all the songs of the 60s, the music of the 60s, and I'd be walking up and down my little house there, like, what is it that really turns me on? What do I really love? Chakada, chakada. I was so separated from who I was that I didn't know that music was the thing that I really loved. And cut a long story short, which is in my book, which is called The Courage to Follow Your Heart, which I'll be putting out later this year, along with an album of songs that went with it, that I wrote at the time. I met some street musicians, and I ended up, to cut a long story short, singing in the nightclubs of Manila in a band with my sweetheart, true love of that time, who is still in my life as a friend. And we had a band, and that then started a whole career in music, which saved my life because it was a way in which I could take all the pain and the resentments, the anger, which I didn't even know that I had at that time, and put it into something that was creative. And that was music, and that was singing. And it took me a huge amount of courage to overcome my fear of self-expression. I was completely, shut down. I didn't want, but I loved music. And so it was my love of music that pulled me through. So that is why I say to everybody that if you can find something that you really love, a creative expression that you really love, whatever you're going through, it can help you. Like others have shared, obviously, if you have any major psychological or issues of mental health, then take what I'm saying. This is my journey. It may not be right for you. You may need to get professional help from a doctor or a psychiatrist or whatever. But for me, once I managed to connect to music and the wish to express myself in singing, that completely changed everything for me. And I then had a purpose actually in life, and was able to then commit myself to being able to sing and go on the journey for the rest of my life, which is a journey that I'm still on now. And I will, in a little while, actually share something that is just hot off the press, which I went into the recording studio this last week, and I've been recording with a fantastic music producer called John Robertson, who I'm so lucky to have on my team. And we've been working on some of the yoga chants that I've learned through my yoga practice. And I will play you one of those. Actually, I don't see why I don't play it for you right now. Let me just see if I can do that. So in terms of our journey as women, while I'm just finding that, I'll just say this, that, you know, part of self-care, I get a lot of people who come to me who are wanting a relationship, longing for relationships, desperately needing a relationship, or coming out of relationships where they've been hurt, and as we know, it's a cliche to say it, the first relationship is the relationship actually that we have with our higher power, and the relationship that we have with ourselves. And through that, if you can find a way to express yourself creatively when you're in a lot of pain, that is a way to exercise, is a cathartic process, whether that is writing in your journal, whether that is doing your garden, whether that is dancing, as we've heard today from Nancy about ballroom dancing, and doing different forms of yoga and asanas, and alongside the self-care of, you know, good diet, the mind, body, soul, emotions, heart, all of the whole picture needs to be in alignment. And that's a lot what I work on with people in my mentorship, is to bring us into balance. And it's a continual journey, actually. And what's so beautiful about us as human beings is if we allow it, we want to grow. That seems to be the maxim of the universe, is that to expand. And when we don't honor that, that's when we get sick and lots of bad things happen. So finding a way to open up to your creativity, I think, is really a gift not only to ourselves, but it's also a gift to our world. And it can be very humble. It doesn't have to be, you know, being an internationally well-known anything. It can be just sewing something beautiful. I mean, I hear so many stories about women who knit, you know. And it's the community also, actually, that's another aspect of self-care that I also wanted to share about today, which is so important, that this community of sisterhood. And that's one of the things that I find is quite often missing. It was certainly missing in my life, because my ability to trust anybody had been completely smashed. And the only time I felt safe was when I was completely alone, and that was something that just stretched right through my friendships. It certainly was impossible for me to trust any kind of a romantic relationship, and it was a very, very slow process of recovery and of learning, you know, to look at situations where people was like, oh my gosh, you know, when they said that to me, is that okay with me? Is that okay? Because I had everything was upside down. I was like I used to think of it like if you think of a tight ball of barbed wire, you know, that's all kind of like this. That's what I was. I was this barbed wire ball. And if anybody got anywhere near me, I would hurt them. And it's been a very slow process of slowly unwinding this barbed wire, and then to be able to become the person that I am today. And it's still a journey that I'm on. I mean, this is the great thing. It's like, and I feel very much that having been brought to my knees in my earlier years, not once, not twice, a lot of times. And I'm sure that's probably the same for everybody who's on this call now, and people who will listen to the replay later, that, you know, life gives us challenges. You know, when we are not going in the right direction, then things happen. You know, when we are in harmony with the rhythm of the universe, it is my experience that things then can flow. And there are all sorts of tools that we can use, some of which we've heard here today, to help us be able to stay in harmony, in alignment with, in right time with the universe. And so creativity is one of those things. Then things like making sure that we've heard from Petrina today about diet and how important that is because we are physical beings. And we've heard from Cassandra about spirituality through yoga, and we've heard from Neka today about how we can improve our self-image. And we've heard from Nancy today about, so, there's many different facets to the diamond that is us as human beings. And but I did want to mention sisterhood, actually, because I find that this is something that's quite often missing with people when I mentor them, that because trust has been broken, relationship is very, very tough, becomes very hard. And so there's a tendency to isolate and not to communicate, not to be close to other people. And I encourage the people who work with me to connect to other women and to create this sisterhood. I call it a sisterhood, and it's what I feel I've been so privileged to have today, actually, with the speakers who have spoken today, and some of the ones who couldn't make it today, who will, I'm sure, come back another time and share with you all. Because that is what holds us. Maybe your family relationships are not what you want. Maybe you have some conflicts and challenges in your one-to-one relationship. But if you've got your sisters around you, these are the people who you can be completely honest with about who you are. So there's no hiding. It's just open heart-to-heart communication. Then there is huge strength. That is a place for us to sound out how we are relating to the world, to be able to talk about what's going on for us, so that if you're having issues in your work, in your primary relationships, or with money, or with whatever it is, there's a place where you can go, because often these days we are separated from our family of origins. In times gone by, we would be in a village and we would have our grandparents, and some of you may indeed have those people in your lives, and that's fantastic. And also, as we become older, as my colleagues of a certain age will understand, that quite often we lose people. But what we don't lose is each other. And that's just so precious. So sisterhood and creativity actually are really both very important tools for us to master in order to be able to have the kinds of relationships and the kind of sexuality in our lives, creativity in our life that we want to have, and that the universe wants us to have. That's what I feel is really important. So I've promised you to listen to one of the songs I've just been in the studio recording, and I'm going to actually just see if I can get that to come out now. I only listened to this morning. It's not finished yet. This is the demo. And I just wanted to share it with you because I'm excited about it. I haven't even properly listened to it myself yet. So please understand. Let's go to sharing screen, advanced. So what I suggest while we listen to this song is that you allow yourself to drift off into the music. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm not playing the song yet, but I'm just about to. Okay, so yes, I would encourage you to use this as a moment for meditation, or you can sing with the music too. That would be lovely if you wanted to do that. So let's just do a little Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. And if you can't hear the song, then let me know, but hopefully you will be able to. So I'm realizing that I'm playing you the version that doesn't have the voice on it, but we're going to go with that anyway. So I realized that I put the an earlier one without the voice on it, but I will play that at the end actually today. I'm going to play that. I found it now and downloaded it from my email, the latest version that I recorded this week in the studio with John, and I will play you the vocal one before I leave at the end of today. I'm going to talk to you now about an event that I'm going to be doing that's coming up next week, which is a 3-day event where it stretches over 3 days. It's actually it's not going to go on all day for 3 days. Like this has been an all-day event, though we are going to finish a little bit earlier today. This is over 3 days, and it's 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours a day. It's a women's only relationship workshop. It will be a cameras on event, and there will be sharing, and it's a place where we are going to be aiming to shift whatever blocks or fear or doubts are concerning you about your relationships. You will find the details below, and I'm going to put them in the chat now as well, so that you can join. There's 2 options, 2 price points. You can join the regular one, which is, I think, £33, something like that, for 3 days. And there's also a option to do the VIP, which means that the VIP means that there's an opportunity for some questions and answers at the end of it with just you or the 2 or 3 people who will be doing the VIP. There's only a few places. So yes, so that might be of interest to some of you. And I will be going through on that event my model, which I showed you a little bit earlier, giving you the experience now of, which has come out of the support that I've been privileged to offer to people who've come and done my workshops with me in the past. And let's just see if I've got something here to share with you about this. I do somewhere. What happens as soon as I get them out? Oh, here we go. That's it. Okay, let's just share this with you. On my website, you will find endless testimonials, written ones, and I'm going to put my website address in the chat for you now. And also on my YouTube channel and in my Facebook as well, there are video testimonials. On my website, a lot of the testimonials are just written ones. You go to my website, but you'll also find the press reviews that I've had. I've been privileged to be reviewed by the Evening Standard and Time Out and the Metro and various other well-known British papers, also American newspapers. I've been on television, but always on the BBC, I've been on radio, but always the things that touch me the most are the personal testimonials from people who actually come on my workshops and then are kind enough to leave a testimonial. And so I think this is what I wanted to show you. Yes, let's hopefully, yeah. So hopefully you can see this. So these are people who literally just come off events that I've been running, which is why I wanted to show you them. So that's, we had a fun 3-day workshop. So this was just in January this year. It was a very fun event. And these are all people who've done my workshops in the last couple of months, and then also various people who've done them my webinars and other things like that. So, and these, I haven't actually put them on my website yet, but they will be there. They're on Trustpilot too. So I always like to just show people these things because I think it shows that, well, I've been doing this for a bit, doing this for a while. So, yeah, so in that workshop, we will be going through the chakra systems, as I've shown you, and we'll be going through my model. Just see if I can find my track now that I want to play you. So I'm going to play this song now. I'm going to be really fussy and actually play this one. Sorry, everybody. This one is the one. So the words are from my Kundalini yoga practice, and it's about taking us from darkness into light. And for me, it's about the universe being our teacher, and that if we follow the path that we are led to, then we will receive the ecstasy of being alive, which is what Wahe means in Sikhism. And oh, that's very nice of you to say so, people. Thank you for sharing that. You enjoyed that. That's great. Thank you. Yes, it's going to be beautiful, that song, when it's finished. It needs to be balanced a bit more, and I can't wait to actually be in a position to be able to perform it live, actually, and do an event like we've had today, but do it as a live event. And that's what I'm busy in, attracting the energy and the support necessary to do that. And so one thing you can all do to help me is to share in your networks the links that I'm going to be sending out once it's on YouTube, but also if you come through Meetup, just give the event 5 stars, talk about it, share it with other people, because that's the way that we're going to be able to gather the momentum in order to be able to do some live events as well as just online events, which of course we will be able to send. It's about, I think in the field of unlimited possibilities, the virtual and the live are the same. So as I've shared at the very beginning of today, if you're watching this on the replay, the energy that you're feeling through it is from the live, the talks that were done live, and also from the replay, because it's all one and the same. Because everything in the universe is going on at the same time everywhere. It's which I know is quite a lot to take on board. That's what the science is showing us. So it has profound implications for us in our lives in terms of being able to raise our vibration to bring into our lives what we want. And it has profound implications for what's going on in our world today, because if we really understand that at a root level, and I am you and you are me, then we are able to share peace and bring a peaceful world, which we really need to, which makes me mindful now just to say to you that we're coming to the end of this event today. I'm going to finish a little bit early today because I've had a couple of speakers unable to attend. So I'll finish this event a little bit early today. This will be the first of several of one-day summits that I'm planning with some of my wonderful colleagues who have been here today. There'll be some more relationship ones. I'm going to do one on conflict, conflict, betrayal, and healing. That's going to be a one-day event that we're going to do. I'm going to also do one on world peace, because this seems to be something that we really need to focus in on at this time. I also do every Monday morning, I do a free healing session on through my Facebook account, which I will send out the details of that as well. So you'd be welcome to come along and join that. Okay, well, I would like to thank again all the people who've come today to speak. I would like to thank Neka, who came this morning, Elena, who shared her wonderful message about self-image. Then I would like to thank Cassandra Collins for her wonderful talk about connecting on a spiritual level and all the different things that we were able to do with that. I'd like to thank Patrina Ten for coming along and sharing all about the health aspects that are so important to live a full and happy life. I'd like to thank Nancy Micheli for her talk about communication. And I'd like to thank again my assistant who was here earlier, who's still, I think, on the call today. Maybe not, she may have gone, who's been helping me. Yes, she is in the background, helping me be able to make this event possible. Thank you, Alexandra. And I'm going to thank myself as well for doing it. And I'm going to thank all of you for being here, either in this moment now or for coming in and watching the replays. I think the last thing I want to say really is have a happy Valentine's Day. Celebrate yourself, ladies. You know, we are beautiful, vibrant. It's all there for us. So please go and celebrate yourselves over these next few days to celebrate your Valentine's Day. And yes, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to finish the call here today. Thank you all for being here. It's been such a privilege to lead this event today. Bye, everybody.